Hey, what is up everyone? Killian here bringing you another video, and this time we're actually going to talk about how to increase your overall combat power within Black Desert Mobile. There's a lot of standard ways that I've seen in videos of people just talking about enhancing gear and using the Black Spirit, but there's a little bit more than that to actually increase your overall combat power and keeping you competitive in Black Desert Mobile. First, we're going to take a look at the standard methods, being the gear enhance and feeding of the Black Spirit to increase combat power. Now, both of these are, I would argue, the primary method in which you will increase your combat power in the long run. However, the later steps are going to be kind of more the gradual increases that a lot of people are overlooking at this point. When you enhance gear, whether that be your armor, your weapon, your accessories, all of that provides an increase to your AP and DP. This is the primary way in which early on you're going to gain most of your combat power. When we're referring to enhancing of gear, if you click in the top right of your screen, you have the option of selecting your Black Spirit, and in the top right of that, you'll see the enhance option. This will allow you to select your piece of equipment that you want to enhance. For weapons and armor, you're looking at using black stones, which you obtain through killing mobs, purchasing them on the marketplace, or through events that are constantly running in Black Desert. Otherwise, whenever you look at your accessories actually require a duplicate of that specific accessory to actually enhance it. Now, whenever you increase these, as a whole, this is going to be your most major and consistent way of increasing your overall combat power. One last tidbit of information whenever it comes to enhancing is that whenever you feed black stones, it gives you a percentage chance to succeed whenever you do enhance. Now, the big thing with this is if you fail, and especially later on higher level of gear, if you fail, you have to spend silver or restoration scrolls to actually reclaim a percentage of your success chance. Now, this gets very, very expensive and is one of the bottlenecks whenever it comes to enhancing. And so you need to be careful and always try and play more on the safe side when you're enhancing and get your percentage as high as you're comfortable with instead of gambling and using basically all of your silver. Next up, we're going to take a look at everybody's favorite Black Spirit. Now, the Black Spirit is super nice because this helps not only your main character get combat power, but also any alts that you have. It also is a wonderful function for whenever you're auto playing, that you can feed any equipment or greens and blues that drop while you're kind of grinding through everything to increase your combat power and free up inventory. Now, if you click in the top right of your screen, giving the little drop down menu, and then going to your Black Spirit under Dark Energy, this is where you quote unquote feed your Black Spirit. Now, the Black Spirit feasts on two things. One, which is condensed dark energy, which drops off of random mobs, and that has differing varieties from white all the way up to yellow quality as well, which gives more experience to the Black Spirit. But also gear, any gear that drops. This is super nice because anytime that you're leaving things on autoplay and it's farming and getting a bunch of these like item drops, you basically can constantly funnel this random equipment that you're not going to use or not even going to sell on the marketplace into the Black Spirit, freeing up inventory and progressing your character as far as combat power goes. Moving forward, we're going to talk a little bit more about the obscure ways to increase your overall combat power for Black Desert Mobile. So the first is
knowledge.
If you look in the top right of your screen and you go to the drop-down menu, you will notice the little book marked with the question mark, knowledge. So with knowledge, what this does is anytime that you're killing a monster that you haven't killed before, you have a chance at obtaining knowledge for it. There are hundreds, if not thousands of mobs, thousands of different books you can interact with and things along those lines to actually increase your knowledge in the game. Now, taking a look at what this actually does, if you go into knowledge and you say like knowledge view by category, topography, you can click the learn more in the bottom right. What this will actually do is it gives you a list of everything that you know or even better, do not know, the unattained. Now, if you scroll through these, you'll notice a lot of them just give things like work or vitality, work or dexterity. This is for your passive income and everything like that. But the main things that we're looking for is defense and attack. These are the things which are actually going to give you a consistent basis for increasing your overall combat power. And clicking through and kind of taking a look at everything, whenever you're looking for increasing those specific stats or combat power specifically, most of the time it has to do with ecology. So ecology being all the different creatures you've killed in your adventure as a whole. So whenever you are going around, before you move on to the next region and things like that, make sure you've obtained all the knowledge of that area to min-max or maximize and keep yourself competitive. Next, another form of knowledge is going to be boss knowledge. Boss knowledge is absolutely massive because this is kind of almost an infinite scaling iteration of constantly increasing your max HP, your defense, your attack, and across all the different bosses that are available. Now, it's always best to try and, in my opinion, focus on the ones that do give you attack and defense, because this is what actually influences your attack power or combat power as a whole. But while you're just clearing these bosses and gaining knowledge by defeating them, this is inherently making your character more and more powerful. After you've completed your search for, what we want to take a look at next is going to be collections. Collections are kind of an interesting thing because a lot of the random equipment that you normally would be feeding to your black spirit and everything along those lines goes into collections. Now, not only do you get rewards for completing the entirety of the collection, like this 10 attack for the Prelude to War, but whenever you click at each individual one, it will tell you as you complete each little bracket, it's increasing your attack, it's increasing your defense, and you get other rewards along the way. So one thing that I always encourage whenever you are kind of looking to min-max or squeak out that little bit of extra combat power is take a look at these, and anytime that you are doing like a grinding session and letting everything go through, take a look at the collection and just auto-register. Constantly auto-register all these things to just fill up the entirety to get those rewards. Moving forward, now that we've addressed how to enhance your gear and gain combat power through that, by feeding the Black Spirit, going over a little bit of knowledge, looking over the collection system, I want to talk about a couple things that you can actively do whenever you are setting up a grinding session or just playing the game to increase your overall combat power. The first, which I've actually never seen anyone else talk about, is using the bond feature with your horse. Now, this is normally a 30-minute buff, which you can constantly refresh with your horse, and your horse can have different things like attack power or defense whenever you bond with the horse, which is just inherently more overall combat power whenever you are farming or playing the game. The next up is a passive method of being in a guild. A guild, if you actually look at the guild skills, some of the options are to just naturally increase your defense or naturally increase your attack. And so look for a guild and join a guild, even if you aren't like super active with it. It's still just another way to inherently have a stronger character. Next up, crystals. Do not neglect to look at your equipment, take a look at your gear, see how many crystal slots are available, and then just put them in there. Like, you can get specific attack ones, you can get specific defense ones, you can get attack speed, which in my opinion, attack speed are some of the greatest. Even though it doesn't technically increase combat power, it does increase your overall efficiency. And then, because if you think about it, if you're putting attack or defense ones into all your different slots of gear, and let's say you only have one slotted piece of gear at this point, you will actually end up getting an additional like 25 to 30 attack just by focusing on attack crystals, which you can obtain just by general merchants within your cities. Do not sleep on this and make sure you're using crystals. The very last bit of information that I have for you is Skillbooks. Skillbooks can be obtained through general merchants, through random drops in the world, and whenever I say skillbooks, I'm not specifically referring to the actual skills you're using, but the passive increases of attack power, defense, attack speed, all of these things which constantly drop while you are AFK farming or farming in the game or getting it through like your arena chests. Make sure you are constantly using these and increasing your overall combat efficiency with your character. The final step we're going to look at as far as increasing CP for Black Desert Mobile is going to fall on gear resonance. A lot of people actually don't really pay too much attention to this, but in the end, this is pretty massive. If you take a look at gear resonance, there are 3 different types, basically. You have your base CP, the gear resonance, which is enchanting your gear to all your gear to a certain level, as well as accessory resonance. These are absolutely huge. So one thing that you'll notice is whenever you get your base CP up to 1900, and this is just your gear enchanted without like different buffs from like your horse and things along those lines or crystals. But gear resonance, the very first one you get at 1900 CP, which anyone who's playing the game and getting even level like 45 or up to 50 will have this. This gives you a massive increase of both 50 attack and 50 defense. Your next step being 300 HP for 2200 and up. And then you look at me, I'm still pretty much like a free-to-play player. I bought pets essentially, and I am at 2500, approaching 2800 at this point. Across this, being a casual player, this is giving me 100 attack, 100 defense, and 300 HP. So definitely take a look and make sure that you're constantly pushing that to the best of your ability. The next thing is going to be your gear resonance. Though this doesn't give quite as huge of a jump as the just bonus effects from your, leveling up or maintaining a baseline CP, looking at gear resonance, you want to enchant your gear to make sure you are hitting these markers kind of collectively. Prioritize your weapon, but don't have a plus 30 weapon and plus 15 gear. You want to incrementally increase everything, because as all your gear goes to plus 15, plus 18, plus 20, plus 23, you are getting this resonance increasing your attack and defense. So make sure you are gradually increasing all of your gear. Lastly is accessory resonance. Now this is the most like meta, I guess, of the resonances. The reason why is because we look at all of these, right? All accessories plus 3 or above, 1% to all damage, 2% to all damage, 3% to all damage, plus 5 attack, plus 5 defense. This is massive. And what a lot of people I've actually been seeing do is they focus on actually purchasing high-end green accessories, say for example like my plus 6 Baras here, and getting plus 6 to all their gear, which actually yields a better result than having all epics or even like 3 epic or purple based jewelry and like 1 or 2 yellow based, because a flat damage increase is massive, and then you are getting the resonance with it, which is naturally increasing your attack and defense even more. So taking a look at everything, guys, I hope that this video has explained how to progress your Black Desert Mobile character, gave you an idea of exactly what you need to do, and kind of laid the roadmap as far as how you're going to just progress through the game. So with that in mind, guys, thank you all for watching. It's been Killrian. I once again do appreciate anyone who's stuck around my YouTube channel as long as you have. And don't forget to check me out on Twitch whenever I'm streaming, twitch.tv/Killrian, or I even restream to YouTube as well. So make sure you stop on in and say what's up. But thank you all for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.